dope ass dude podcast. Transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind, transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude, and I am so excited to be here on tonight with you guys. And we have such an amazing show lined up for you guys tonight. And I am really excited about this topic that Casal and I are going to be talking about. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So if you're in the comments already, go ahead and drop a hello in there and let us know that you're there. And I see Dips M_MO M0909. She is already in the comments, and a lot of people don't know she's in a whole nother country, and I think it's maybe 2:00 in the morning where she's at. So she's up watching the podcast. So what's going on, D? Happy to have you here. Everybody else, if you're in the comments, just go ahead and jump in there. But you guys already know the preliminary things. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you don't mind going ahead and subscribing to the YouTube channel. And while you're there, click on like and notification so you can be notified each and every time a new podcast is uploaded to the site. And then click on like so that it can be shared with others just like you. And then if you're unable to catch the podcast on Monday nights, you can always catch it on the go on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, all Dope Ass Dude podcast. And then you can watch the podcast live each Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Again, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And preliminary stuff, you can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at the Dope Ass Dude podcast. Again, both Instagram and TikTok, if you don't mind following me out on those platforms at the Dope Ass Dude podcast. And we'll get Casal's information out of the way. Casal is out on Instagram and TikTok as well. And he made it kind of easy for you guys, and Facebook. On Instagram and TikTok, he is Casal Henry, Casal Henry, Henry, all together. So Casal Henry on both Instagram and TikTok. And then on Facebook, you can follow him at Casal Henry Jr. So again, Casal Henry Jr. And then Casal has a YouTube channel. I think his podcast may be on break right now, but the Safe Space Network. So you can go out and follow him on YouTube there as well. But I'm really excited to have Casal on the podcast. Casal, I think this is his fourth time on the podcast, and he always brings such insight to the listeners, and I'm always inspired after I meet with Casal. And he's a podcaster, so he understands how podcasts work and all of that. But he's also a believer, and he's also someone who is living his best life and in tune with God's purpose for his life. Gay Arbuckle and Tyson Perry, what's going on? Andrew, what's going on, man? What's happening there, brother? So happy to have all of you in the chat already. But I am so proud, and I'm reading Gay's thing out loud. Proud of you, John. Thank you, Gay. But I am so happy to have Casal on here, and we're going to go ahead and bring him on now because he'll tell you a little bit more about him. Casal, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thanks again for having me. I always value you as a friend, but also just your podcast, man. So thank you for doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. It's blessed me.
Oh, dude. I mean, I feel exactly the same way about you and your podcast.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. God is good. So here we are again, yet again. I always look forward to every time we can chat.
Now, did you get that Walmart Wi-Fi fix? Because the last time you was on here, like you kept going in and out, we lost you and everything. Maybe that was CVS Wi-Fi you were on. Did you get
I
that
think
fixed
that was
now?
TVS. This time I upgraded
Oh my God. Oh my God. So Casal, tell for the new listeners, tell everybody about you, man. What's going on with you?
Oh man, I am blessed. One of the things that I love, and John knows this, is I love helping people and I love talking to people about trauma and just learning lessons from the past. And so that's kind of where the podcast, and the network for the podcast, the Safe Space Network, came about. Is God put that on my heart to just share my pain and share all the lessons that I've learned, because I'm not the only one that is going through these things. Others are, that may not have had the opportunity to speak out or the platform or even the strength at the time. So just in hearing someone that they can connect with, that has brought a lot of fruit and a lot of messages towards me. So I just thank God for that. So that's my passion. My passion is helping others and just seeing how we can bring a smile to a face.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because you just said you wanted to like share your pain. Like, was that a struggle for you to strip down of all the male ego, all of this other kind of stuff, and share the fact that you are in pain? Was that a struggle for you?
Absolutely. And I tell you, the first time, it wasn't even supposed to be a podcast. I literally wanted to hear myself and watch myself talk about what I went through so that I could see, am I really going through this? And so I just recorded it and I watched it back. And as I was watching it back, I was like, man, this is horrible. I don't want anybody to see what I'm going through. And then the more I did it again, and I was like, man, if I'm feeling this way, others are feeling this way. And in order for me to get help, or in order for me to feel this journey of healing, I've got to be transparent, and not just with myself, but I've got to be willing to talk about it. And if I'm willing to talk about it, then I can start my journey for healing. So that's kind of how it was a process, because I do not share feelings like that.
And I love how you said you recorded yourself and you went back and you watched it because it's amazing how like I'll just use me for example. Sometimes I'll reflect on things that I've been through in the past.
Mhm.
And when I reflect on them, my heart breaks for the
Yes.
version of John I was at that time because I was like, oh my God, like you really went through it. Like you really went through it. And my heart breaks. And sometimes I like, I mean, sometimes I will cry because
Mhm.
I mean, I'm grateful that I'm out of it today, but when I look back in retrospect and I see it, it's just like you were going through so much. I was going through so much. And then every day I would have to get up and put on a mask and walk
Yes.
out into the world and be the happy John. And a lot of this stuff was going on before social media happened. And I was even having to put, that face on that social media before social media already came back. The whole facades of being happy and everything is going good in your life, but on the inside I was screaming. I
Yep.
really was. And I didn't have anybody to talk to at that time. So, dude, I mean, for you
Yeah.
to put that and start doing that, that's pretty extraordinary.
Absolutely. And the lesson that I learned in that, and I do this for anyone who comes through this door, because my house is a community house, and there are people who come in and out who are struggling or just in pain, and they've either heard about this conversation or heard about me, and they just stop by and say, hey, can I just have a quick conversation? And one thing that I've done with people who have had conversations for a period of time is I will record. I'll say, listen, let's record your entry. Let's record the beginning of where you're here. And no one needs to see it, but I want to record it for you. And I recently shared this because the person is in a better space. But over the last 2 years, this person has been going through a lot of traumatic things. And I recorded the first interview where she just broke down and just shared everything that she was going through. And now that she's in a better space in the healing journey, I played it back for her. I shared it with her and again, and I said, watch the difference and see how your facial expression and the healing that is taking place. You look 10 years older in this original video. Look at your vibrance now. Healing has a property that changes the entire body from the outside in, but it starts on the inside. And you have to embrace that healing, which is going to be uncomfortable in order for it to radiate through, but you have to reflect on where you came from.
Mhm. So when you first started and you were just, you stripped down, got naked, showed everybody your scars and your wounds,
Mhm.
like what type of feedback did you receive from that?
So at first, I thought I was going to receive, why are you putting this out? Like, what is the purpose? What is your goal? But instead, what I did receive was, man, I've been going through the same thing. I just didn't know who to talk to. Or I can identify with what you're saying. I can't say it out loud, but I can secretly identify with what you're going through. And it was that was the confirmation that you don't need to stop. The more transparent you are, is the more others will be impacted and be aware that healing can happen through men talking, because men don't talk. We can't show that emotional side because then we're not strong according to society, or these other stigmas that are around that. But it's okay to cry. Men can cry. Men need to cry. It's healthy for men to express emotions.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And not even just men, women, period. A lot
Absolutely.
of people do not feel as though that they can be transparent and honest
Yes.
with people. And one thing I have learned, because it was interesting that you got the one of the guys he said you spoke with, he said that he couldn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned is those things that you can't say out loud, if you don't take ownership of those things, they're going
Yes.
to own you. And you're
Yes.
always going to walk in fear of those things being revealed or you being exposed. And that's why you have to face it head on, take it, own it. If it's something you need to fix it. But
Yeah.
if it's something that broke you, own it. Because if you don't own it, like I said, it's going to own you. And you're always going to walk around in fear that you're going to be exposed. And it's nothing more horrible than that.
Yes. And to your point, there comes a time when you come to this fork in the road. And that fork in the road, you can go two directions. Am I going to be transparent and want healing? Or am I going to go this route where I'm hiding and constantly hiding and dealing with that pain myself? Now, I got to the point where I was at rock bottom and I was like, listen, I have nothing else to lose. I don't care who knows what. I've got to share my pain so that I can have healing, because I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to experience peace and I want to experience freedom from this prison of pain.
Yeah, you have to reach that rock bottom point. It's like where you can't go any lower for you to be like, I'm tired of feeling this way.
Yeah.
I got to get out of this. I don't know what I'm gonna do, who I'm gonna talk to, what am I, you don't know, but you just know that you have reached a point that you can't go another day feeling the way that you're feeling. Wow. I'm proud
Absolutely.
of you, man. I'm proud
I
of you, dude.
appreciate it, man. It's been a long journey, and it's important to go over your wins. And that's the second thing that I would say that is very important. Is it's so easy to focus on everything that's going wrong, and I made this mistake again, or this decision I could have made better. But when you take the time to actually reflect on the wins, and then you say, all right, this is the lesson that I've learned. Let me move on to the next. I was watching an interview with Shelly-Ann Fraser Price. She's a Olympic medalist for Jamaica. And what she said was that failure is winning. And failure is winning because you're learning what to do next. And that's the thing that we have got to not be afraid of, right? We've got to stop being afraid of the failure of stepping out. You have to step out in order to make progress. If not, you're going to stand still your entire life.
Love that. I love that. Man. Yeah, and you know, and I 100% agree with you. You have to celebrate the wins. I don't
Yeah.
care how small they are, how big they are. You have to celebrate it because that's progress. That is
Yes.
some progress that you didn't have the day before or maybe
Exactly.
2 weeks before. So you have to celebrate that. So, but we're taught not to celebrate ourselves. So how do we get over that lie that you're not supposed to celebrate yourself?
So that's where it has to become, I block out the entire world, right? If I'm looking at, and we were talking a little bit before, where the two anchors in my life are my relationship with God and God. That's my anchor. It's a two-way relationship, right? If as long as my relationship with God is strong, then I can weather anything around me. If I'm weathering anything around me, that means I don't care what people are thinking or saying or how they're perceiving me, because what's most important to me is my relationship with God and my progress in that relationship, which is part healing, which is stepping out, which is taking all these chances towards, where we want to be. So as long as we focus on what matters and we tune out all of the noise, then you can say this stuff to me, but I'm not giving you the power to hold me back because that's your opinion. Your opinion does not dictate my destiny. That's it.
Yeah, but yeah, some of our minds dude, it is so noisy. It's
It
noisy
is.
with our
It is.
own voices. It's
Yeah.
noises with everyone around us voice. I mean, like we probably many times we can't even hear the devil talking to us or the enemy talking to us because everybody else's voice is so loud in our head. So it's like you have to silence the voices. You
Yes,
really do. You have to silence the
you do.
voices and sometimes, and I don't want people to always think that the voices that we're talking about is people in your circle
Right.
presently.
Right.
Sometimes we have the voices of our upbringing, maybe an
Yeah.
abusive parent says something to
Yeah.
us or a
Hmm.
teacher, and these voices are in our head and we're carrying these voices and they're on repeat every day.
Yes.
They constantly repeating and telling you what you're not, what you
Yes.
can't do. And you got to silence that stuff, man.
Yeah. And in order to silence them, you've got to face them. So you've got to literally dispel the voices. So if there's a voice telling you that I'm not smart enough to do this, then I need to face that and prove to that voice that I can do it. And then that voice is silenced. It can come, but I've already overcome that. So there is, and it took me a period of time. So I'm not, definitely don't want it to see, and I'm still silencing voices
Mhm.
every day, every moment, because that's just a part of life, right? But the more that you look at those wins, the more that you really figure out who you really are and whose you are, then when those voices come up, I can do all things. Why can I can do all things through Christ. So you can hand me, I'll give you a quick example. So I got a job, my very first job out of college, right? It was, well, no, it was my second job. I had project management and cybersecurity. Never done it before. I had never been in cybersecurity. I've always wanted to be, but I've never done it. Now, the manager gave me the opportunity to join the team. I told them I didn't have experience, but she still hired me. I had to spend, I was YouTubing my job while I was doing the job in order for me to make it through one day. So every day was the same process where I would YouTube my job, Google over here, and then my job right here. So when we talk about stepping out or God giving you favor or even facing the uncomfortable, like there are certain things that you're going to face that are very uncomfortable, But if you do not step into the uncomfortable, then you won't make progress. Everyone can walk where it's comfortable, but that means you've already been there if it's comfortable. You've got to step out that comfort zone in order for real progress to be made.
I love what you just said. You've already been there if it's comfortable. I think
Yeah.
that's something that everybody needs to been there. Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So Casal, so when I asked you, when I reached out to you, I said, Casal, what do you want to talk to?
You muted. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me
There you
now?
go. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, hold on one sec. I can't hear you. Let me fix that.
I can hear you.
See here. Let me see here.
Well, while we wait, being uncomfortable is something that my dad always said that you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And when I started to really take heed to that, being comfortable with the uncomfortable, then I started to relax more in environments that were more pressure testing. And I started to get more comfortable with the fact that I was going to be uncomfortable. And I was going to feel there's nothing wrong with feeling all those emotions and feeling the pressures and feeling everything, right? But it's how you deal with it. How do I process it? That really shows who you really are and where you're developing in. So being comfortable with being uncomfortable is not always a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Love that. So, Casal,
Yeah.
when I reached out to you about coming on the podcast, I asked you, I said, what do you want to talk about? I asked you, what do you want to talk about? Because you've been on the podcast before and we've talked about so many different things. So you came back and your response was, not everything that you go through is for you. So let's talk about that. What did you mean by that?
So when hindsight is 2020, right? So there are experiences that you go through that you're thinking about, and you're just like, why would this happen to me? Like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense why this particular thing would happen to me. And when I started to look back on all of my experiences, I realized that some of those experiences, I went through them thinking, not realizing that there were other people who reached out to me who were going through those same experiences. And I was like, well, if I'm going through it and they're reaching out to me about them going through it, I must have gone through this for a reason. The Lord must have chosen me or is allowing me to be used to share my experience because it didn't break me in order for someone else to have hope for their circumstances. And when I started looking at things in that way, I saw a domino effect of decisions or things that have happened over the course of my life where others were impacted more than I was even impacted for some of them. And that's when I started to realize, man, you know what? Not everything is about me. That allows me to take things that come my way, even though they may be difficult. I take it on with a different challenge in mind where, yes, this could be refining my character. Yes, this could be for me a lesson to learn, but there could be countless others who are watching who will learn a lesson that's not even meant for me to learn, but for them to learn in watching.
And I think, because in real time, it sounds good that you're saying like, oh, well, it didn't happen to me. It was for someone else. But in real time, it's
Yeah.
pretty painful.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
And I love how you said God chose you. And I
Yeah.
think that's what people have to understand. When we go through things that are not for us,
Mhm.
that are not for us. It's either for someone to watch our journey or for us to come through it to be able to help someone else that is going through it. When you are the chosen one, it seems unfair
Mhm.
because real time hurts like hell. It hurts, man. Like,
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, I look at Job, right? When I read the story of Job, and I see how much he lost in that day, like that's everything wiped out, and he didn't know why. But look at us talking about this all these thousands of years later, right? We're referring to him going through this, yet remaining faithful to God, and he lost everything, but then he was also blessed.
yeah. So okay. So what advice? Because like I said, I'm 100% with you on
Yeah.
that. And the funny thing, I had a friend to call me maybe like 2 weeks ago, and there's
Mhm.
someone that she knows he was going through a change in his life.
Yeah.
And so she was about to make some decisions based on the injustice she
Mm.
thought that he was experiencing. And
Mhm.
she said, well, I'm going to resign. And she was
Mhm.
telling me this on text. So I picked up the phone, I called her and I said, hey, well, why are you resigning? And she was like, well, I don't like what's going on and I don't like how they're treating him. And I said, but why are you resigning? And
Mhm.
she said, well, again, I just don't like how they're treating him. So what I
Mhm.
told her in that moment, I said, that's his journey and that's
Yes.
his story. And I
Yes.
said, one day he's going to look back on this journey and
Yep.
he's going to see how God had his hands all over it, how it wasn't happening to him, but it was happening for him.
Yes.
And he's gonna thank God for it, but you're about to quit and make life altering decisions in your life on something that is eventually going to be a blessing for him. Stay in your lane. But when
Yeah.
we're looking on the outside, we do sometimes we can empathize with them
Yeah.
and all the other kind of stuff, but that's their journey. And you have to
Mhm.
trust God when you're watching people in their journey that this is it's working out for their good. It's something
Yes.
good is coming from this. Yeah.
Yes. And I love that example because really, when you talk about everyone taking their own journey, that's one of the reasons why I pray for purpose. So if when I'm taking a job or while I'm on this job, I've had lots of ups and downs, right? But I said, Lord, help me to fulfill my purpose in my role on this job. Because let's just say that I'm in that situation, right? And I'm witnessing the injustice there. That individual may make a decision based on that injustice, right? But you may be there specifically assigned to support those who witness that, even if that individual does leave. So now, if you abandon your post, now you've left a vacuum in where your purpose was that could have impacted the lives of others around you. So it's great to empathize, right? But if we're not praying for the Lord to show us our purpose and for us to fulfill that purpose, we could impact others around us based on our own feelings.
And again, when our heads are noisy with our emotions
Yeah.
and our feelings, because she told me she prayed about it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not down whether you prayed about it, and I'm not down
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
God told you to leave or not. But I do know, like, that's his journey. That's
Yeah.
that guy's
Yeah.
journey. And I love how you said if when we start empathizing, we make decisions based on that, then we're leaving a void there, a
Yeah.
vacuum there. Because
That's right.
we have our own purpose and our own
That's
plan
right.
in that same exact
That's right.
situation. Our purposes are parallel to one another.
That's right.
We both have a purpose. So you have to know, be able to identify what your purpose is in this situation.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I've been in the place where I've wanted to make decisions. But when I've, talked through it and I get myself out of it and I start looking at it, then I'm like, well, you know what? My team is going to ask this question. here's an opportunity for me to encourage them based on what's going on, or to show them the difference in this leading and being a boss. So there are different lessons that we're meant to teach others, but we can't necessarily, we have to be careful, let me say that we're not trading purpose for emotion.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So let's dive a little bit into that too, Casal, because
Yeah.
like when things do happen to us, and it's funny, when things happen to us, we feel we feel blindsided sometimes,
Mhm.
but we're always telling God, Lord, I'm available to you. I give myself away, God. We sing these songs every Sunday in church. Lord, I'm available to you. Use me, Lord, in thy way. We are constantly telling God, pick me. I'm
Yep.
available for
Yep.
you to use me. Whatever using me look like, God, I'm here ready, available for you to use me. And when God take us up on that offer, we done told him, when God takes us up on that offer, then in real time again, and I've had some of the most painful moments in my life
Yeah.
to happen when it was God working, choosing me, when I was the
Mm.
chosen one for that appointed time. And in
Mhm.
those moments, I can't lie, I was disappointed in God
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
at the time, I was blind to what was going
Yep.
on. And I was disappointed in him because it went from use me to why me,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
why are you allowing this to happen to me? But now looking in retrospect, I do see that it was like all a part of the plan. And where I'm going with this here is that when God is taking us through something, sometimes
Mhm.
it's not even for someone else. Sometimes it is for us to do something different. It's
Yes.
a it's a pivot moment. And it's
Mhm.
God saying, okay, you're not going to move yourself, so I'm going to move you. Because again, you've gotten comfortable where you are and you're not ready to move to the next level, and I'm ready for you to go there, so I'm going to have to move you. Have you ever had that to happen to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to the point where we have to be careful how we pray and what we pray, right? So going to your example real quickly of let's just say, Lord, give me patience. Well, when he gives us those situations to develop that muscle of patience, then we get frustrated because we're in the situation where we've got to develop the patience. So in praying and asking for those things, God is going to answer those prayers. But going to your decision or your question, yeah, I had that happen so many times. But I'll tell you about a relationship in the past that I've had where I said, Lord, I need you to end this because I'm in a place where I'm not ready to end it. And I need you to be the one that ends this. If this is not for me, end it. Soon as I finished praying that prayer, later that afternoon, I got a phone call and I was like, you know what? I don't think this is working out the way that it should. I said, man, Lord, I wasn't expecting you to move that fast, but I mean, here it is. I knew that if it were left up to me, where I was in that space, I would not have made that decision. So I had to pray and say, God, I'm giving you the decision. I know you want me to make it, but I'm telling you where I'm at, and you know where I'm at. I need you to help
Mm.
me make that decision. Remove me from it. And he did.
But you weren't expecting him
I
like
said,
God,
nah.
could you like giving me a little time to get myself? I'm kind of fickle with my decisions. I'm saying this, but like, can you give me a little prep time?
I know. I was like, at least a week, 2 weeks. Give me a 2 week notice or something. He said, nah, man, today, right now.
Yeah, because when we do ask God for stuff, and like I said, when God is ready for us to move to the next level, when he's ready for us to go to whatever that is that he's ready for us to go, if we are not moving, and the thing is, I in experiences where I've had that to happen, is things become uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It seems like because every job that I have had that I had to leave, I would be on my way to work. And because I'm not a person who stresses over a lot of stuff. I really don't
Mhm.
stress over a lot of stuff. So I would be on my way to work and I would be so stressed out. I would like break down and start crying in the
Mhm.
car because I had to go to work. I
Mhm.
had, I needed that check. I needed to
Mhm.
go in there and get that money. I needed all of that. But I knew that it was time for me to go. God had kind of like giving those like little warnings, those nuggets. Hey, it's time for you to move on. But I was comfortable in it. You making good money. You doing all this
Yep.
kind of stuff. But God was like, no, it's time for you to move.
Yep.
And it got so uncomfortable for me that it was like I was about to either get fired because I was about to snap or
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a transition, right? So sometimes God takes you to a position for you to leave that position. And I, I'll tell you, I went from oil and gas to this drilling company. This was several years back, and I was there probably for 6 months, and then they let me go, and I was like, "Why?" I was like, "For 6 months, I just left a 7-year job." And I came to this job for 6 months and then get let go. But what God had done was he doubled my salary from the last job. So that when I got the next opportunity, it even went further than that for that other opportunity. So, sometimes he allows you to get a position or to be transferred or moved just for you to transition to another place. It's not meant to stay, but it's a transition to
Mhm.
get to where he wants you to be.
Yep. And that is so funny. It's so funny when you said that about the 6 months, because sometimes God will put us temporarily in a place for
Mhm,
somebody to recognize us, for us to
mhm.
connect to somebody. And you could be there 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, you meet the person that is supposed to carry you to the
Yes.
next level. It is funny. That's why when stuff happen, like for real, I it took me a long time to get here, but when things happen in my life that I don't understand, I've learned to just say, "Hey God, I trust you. Whatever
Mhm.
you're doing, I don't get it, I don't
Yeah.
understand it, it doesn't feel good, but I trust you because you've proven yourself to be faithful to me." So yeah, you can go to a place for 6 months like you did. I played at this church. This is no lie because, and it's some people from Pilgrim Rest out here watching the podcast. So when I first met Pastor Wallace, I met Pastor Wallace in Commerce at East Texas, and he would come run a revival. I played for him and everything. And I was like 19 years old at this time. And he said, well, hey, if you ever in Dallas and you need a job, holler at me. And I didn't take him up on that. I thought this man was just, saying whatever. And
Yeah.
years passed, and we had a funeral at New Birth Baptist Church. And that pastor hired me. And then I only played there 3 months. And in
Mm,
that 3 months, they had a citywide revival. And the pastor who hired me that connected me back with Pilgrim Rest, he was at that revival. And he
look
saw
at
me
that.
direct. And when I left, he called Pastor Pryor and asked Pastor Pryor, hey, that guy that was at your church, who is he? And that
Mhm,
ended up connecting me back to the plan. And that's why I say you can go somewhere and God, it is a strategic move
mhm.
of God. And he
Yes.
wants you here in this appointed time to connect with this person to advance you to where he's trying to take you. But you have to be willing to move when he's making those moves.
Absolutely. And that's why I stand on the whole praying for purpose, because if you get sidetracked from your purpose, it's
Yep.
easy to maneuver elsewhere, right? But if you had said, "You know what? Nah, that I don't want to play at that. I don't want to play here." You wouldn't have been seen. You wouldn't have transitioned to where you were. So there are a lot of key things that shifts that happen through obedience. But in order to obey, you've got to understand the purpose for what you're obeying, or what are you
Yep.
obeying? And once you understand that, then the emotional attachments are, you know, they're still tough, but you'll be able to start breaking those away and say, maybe I'm here for this reason. Lord, just reveal it to me, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's hard though, Casal.
It is.
That's hard.
It is.
The Lord done led me to some dark places. Like,
me too.
that's hard. That's hard. But the good thing about those places that are uncomfortable, you don't stay longer than you're supposed to stay. You don't stay longer than what you're supposed to stay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But it gives you a recognition too, because even, you know, a friend of mine used to stand in the back of the church, and I was like, man, why are you standing in the back of the church? And he was like, because I can see people's pain from back here. And I was like, wow, I never even thought of looking at the congregation to see how people really are doing. And that mindset, going back to what you were just saying, that mindset is what transferred to me, where sometimes I'm going through something so I can recognize it in someone else. So as I'm going through it, I've reached out to people saying, man, I recognize that type of pain. That's familiar. I know that. And I don't have to bring it up. I'll just drop them a verse that may be speaking to whatever the pain that I recognize. And then I'll get a response. And I'm just like, pray for me for this. And I'm like, man, thank you, Jesus, for allowing me to obey in you telling me to do this. But you're right. It's a tough thing. But sometimes we go through those things so that we can recognize them in others as well.
So let me ask you this here, Casal. So how do you change pain to purpose? How do you transition from pain to purpose? How do you do that?
So one of the big things for me is I had to rid myself of ego. I had to strip down, as you were saying before, I had to remove everything from I cared about perceptions. I cared about the thoughts of others or how I was being looked at, all of those things. I had to slowly gain the confidence and the strength through God to be able to rip those apart so that I didn't see through those glasses or those lenses that made those voices pop out. I removed it. So when I'm removing it, I no longer, you know, I would hear it, but I wouldn't focus on it. I was at the point where I was like, Lord, I know I'm hurting, but if the only way for me to get through this pain is to be fully transparent, then so be it, because I'm just tired. I have nowhere else to go. I am tired. I don't want to be in this position anymore. Mentally, physically, I just don't want to be here like that. And when I started to hit that era, then I was like, I'm taking any lifeline that's coming. And that lifeline was in the form of, why am I feeling this pain? What is triggering this pain? Then I started to do all the dissecting of, where is this really coming from? Why is this triggering me? What am I learning? What am I meant to learn? Is this a cycle or is this a one-time thing? That's when I started facing the pain. And facing that pain is when the journey of healing started.
Mhm. This is something that I just thought of too, Casal, is as long as you are not being transparent with your pain,
Mhm.
you're holding someone whose purpose is to help you up.
Come on.
You're holding
Come
them
on.
up. So because it's all a cycle. It's
Yes.
all a cycle. Just like we transform our pain into purpose to help others. Someone
Mhm.
else has changed their pain into purpose to help you.
That's
But you
right.
have to be transparent, and you can't. We live in a world that shame us for having human experiences
Mhm. Yep.
and hurting, and it's unfortunate because we don't ever, some people never even make it, they end their lives because they
That's
felt
right.
so much pain. But we live in this world that we are ashamed to be transparent and just honest about the way that we're feeling. But as long as you are holding on to your pain and not allowing someone to help you, you're probably holding up the person whose purpose and the plan for God is to help you. So you got
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. And even so, the obedience, you're so right. The obedience is a domino effect, because I'll give you this quick example where I was at a prayer meeting and I heard the testimony or the prayer request of this individual. Now, the Lord told me specifically, give this person this amount of money. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe I'll just send partial and just see how that's received, and then I'll send the rest. And I didn't feel right about it, but I was like, you know what? I'll just send partial. So I sent partial, and then I was convicted that I didn't do as I was told. So I sent the other part of it. Well, that created an uncomfortable situation where now, instead of one transaction, there was multiple. So the individual felt uncomfortable. So if I had listened to God the first time, and if I was obedient to say, I hear the testimony was given, I was convicted to satisfy that. And because of my disobedience, it caused an awkward exchange that took a while to get through. When if I had just done it the first time, that person would have solved their issue the first time and not had this little period of time when you have to, kind of awkward feeling things out type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of obedience. Your obedience and the support and help of someone, whether it's for you or you're providing it for that person. When God says move, you move. You don't. Partial obedience is disobedience.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Like that is, dude. Yeah, you have to follow the voice of God in your head and you have to be obedient to that. And again, that's a stretching moment for you because it's
Mhm.
taking you out of your comfort zone to do something that you probably normally wouldn't do
Mhm.
for someone else. But you have to like again just be open to it because like I said, dude, we say that every Sunday. God, I'm available to you. Use me. I give myself away. I empty myself so you can fill me up. We say all of that, and then when, like I said, when you take us up on it, it's like, what?
Mm.
You thought I was for real? No, I was playing. I didn't put I'm available to you FR. No, I just said
Yeah.
I'm available to you.
Not immediately, just in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, in the future. In the future. Give me a heads up. Give me a heads up. But that's how God works. And like I said, when to be chosen, sometimes it's a hurtful experience.
It is.
Sometimes it doesn't always feel good to be chosen. It's not always happy moments. But when you endure through
Mhm.
it and you come out of it and you look back in retrospect and you see how God's hand was on you, I mean, that is an honor right there in itself. His hand is on you because he chose you. Like that, that's something to shout
Absolutely.
about. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my nephew, or so it was a sermon that I heard this past weekend or the weekend before, and it was about on the Hebrew boys being thrown in the furnace. And when he threw three in there, Nebuchadnezzar threw three, and he saw four. And so when we talk about being in the midst of things, in the where we're asking the Lord, hey, use me, do all of these things, right? And he starts to leverage you, and you're going through it. It's very easy not to see that fourth person in there. It's very
Mm,
easy. But when we start to really pray and understand that God allows things to happen for refinement of character. So if we're looking at things for refining character or building someone else or helping someone else, then we realize even though it may seem like a negative thing to us, God will always get the glory for something. So it's either building someone else, but we were entrusted because we were strong enough to endure it, or it's meant for us and refinement for us. So either way it goes, God is always going to get the glory. And if it's hard to see that when you're going through it, but that's where I pray the encouragement of Lord, just help me to see what you see, please,
mm.
because I don't see it, but help me see what you see.
Mhm. Yeah, and that has to be a daily prayer. God, help me to see what you see. Yeah, because you have to ask him sometimes that because it's like you said, we don't see it because
Mhm.
we only seeing the part that impacts us.
Yep,
God sees
that's
the
right.
part that's going to impact the person you're going to help, that's going to help somebody else, and then they're going to help somebody else, and it trickles on down. So it's like we're touching one person's life is touching 1,000 people's lives because it's going to continue to go down. Like you said, a domino effect. It's going to
Mhm.
keep on going. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even like with your podcast, man, that the impact that that's had on me, let alone all the people that have listened or watched. I mean, you never know the impact that you will have and the people that you will reach that you'll never even know about. You may never even meet them. And I was listening to this podcast and this episode came on and I heard such and such and it really encouraged me. You will never know the full impact of that until later on in life or when Jesus comes and then you're seeing or hearing that person say, when you said this, that's what really changed me. So it's far reaching, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel the same way about you, and I think since you and I have been friends and hey guys, I'm about to shame Casal too.
Oh
So,
boy.
because I'm gonna tell you, this is how this Negro is. So, like, y'all heard how he was saying he has a community house. I ain't never been to the community.
I knew that was gonna come.
I
I
ain't
knew that
never
was
been to
coming.
the
I knew that
community.
was
I
coming.
see on Facebook all the community in his house. I be like, that punk, yeah, he got a man cave and they all in the community. I'm like, okay, yeah, there you go, whatever. Whatever.
He's a permanent resident of the community. He's coming. He's coming over. He's coming over.
But it's again though, when I met Casal, we both have had life experiences to happen
Yeah,
since we met each other. And even though we don't hang out all the time, I do know that if I ever call you, I need
absolutely.
you. And same thing with you. You already know that about me. And I would
Absolutely.
rather have those people that I know I can call on in those hard times that are gonna give me that word of encouragement. And that's what you've been to me. And I hope I'm the same for you, man. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. I told you right before this. I can't tell you how many times you've messaged me when I've really needed to hear it. And I'm sitting there and I'm reading this and I'm like, Lord, you know exactly who and when to send things when we're at the point where we just are not responding to anyone else sending stuff to you.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, the Lord uses you to be such a blessing in my life, man. It's been tremendous since our paths have crossed, and I know that it's been intentional, and I feel that the Lord allowed us to meet
Yeah.
for these
Yeah.
very reasons.
Yeah. I 100% agree, man. I 100% agree. So, hey guys, those are out there in the comments. Have you ever had a moment in your life where it wasn't about you, it was for you to bless someone else or you to be there for someone else? Have you ever had that happen in your life, or how have you turned pain into purpose in your life? Drop a comment real quick before we get out of here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, Casal, so what else is going on with you? So, what's happening with your podcast?
So the podcast, and it's funny you mentioned that because I've been praying a lot about it this year. I started recording, and I was told to put it on hold. And in the what the podcast is doing, same podcast, but the theme of it is changing. And the theme is changing to the journey. And the journey is really encompassing the A to Z of the journey, the Christian walk, right? So we talk about what it means to come to Christ. We talk about what it means for Christ to come, but we don't talk about the fact that we're still going to struggle. We're still going to fall. We're still going to have these temptations. We're still going to encounter all of this strife in between, trying to get from point A and stay encouraged to be there for B. So what has been placed on my heart is the Just Me podcast. It's going to be just me, still just me as in being transparent, but the focus is going to be on the journey, helping those who are coming into their walk with Christ or who are thinking about their walk with Christ understand that things just don't disappear. We understand that you're going to be struggling. That's why we want to provide encouragement and support, testimonies, and real people talking about current struggles, not struggles that have happened in the past, but current struggles, so that they can see that we can still continue the walk while we struggle.
Yeah, and I think that is something that is definitely needed because I mean the world is kind of like suffering now, man. I
Yeah.
mean, people are struggling, like
Mhm.
really bad, struggling just with everyday life. It's not major things, it's just people are struggling coping with and moving and navigating through every day. Every day
Yeah.
is a challenge for them. So Yolanda put a comment, the pain from my divorce. Okay, I'm now able to pour into other women. I love that. Again,
Yes.
letting your pain become a purpose and helping others with that. I love that. Patricia said, I told myself trying to be there for others most of the time. If they allow me to. Yeah, and that's right, Pat.
Mhm.
And Pat is another beautiful spirit. People, because I had to like really learn that lesson here too, Pat, is that I was guilty of being the support that I think people need. And I was always getting resistance because I was doing what I thought they needed. So I had to take a break, pull back, and become the support that they need me to be. And when I became that for them, it moves smoothly. They are more able to articulate how they feel, what they need, and I'm able to support them. So I love that. Okay,
Love it.
then we got yep, today in the office, a colleague was happy. She opened up to me. Oh, wow. The weight
Mm.
of the burden was halved in the day. Oh, I
Mm.
love that.
I love
I
that.
love that. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I love that. So people are allowing themselves to help other people. That's what I'm talking about.
I love
Let's
it.
see. Casal, I'm gonna let you read this one here.
All
My
right.
screen is so small.
The shame of financial hardship, but able to be on the other side of it. So now I'm able to testify that God will bring you out. Amen. That's a
Mhm.
big one, especially for now, because we see the prices of everything going up all over the place. But God says that your bread and water will always be sure. And you are a testament of that by what you're sharing right there. So I love that.
Yeah. And I love those testimonies too when people reflect back on like when I was barely paying my bills.
Yes.
I tell people all the time because I never get this, man. When I first moved into apartment, my mother and dad always told me, you always keep a bag of potatoes, a bag of rice, and a bag of beans. If you don't
Beats.
have
Yep.
anything else, then you have those three things. And I never forget, dude, I was so low on money. I was eating French fries, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes every day because I only had potatoes in my house. That's the only thing I had in the pantry was potatoes. And I was because that's when we sliced up potatoes to make French fries. We didn't want to buy them back then. And I just remember doing that. But
Yeah.
now when I look back on it in retrospect, I can help people. It's easier for me
Mhm.
to empathize and relate to others and not be judgmental. Oh, well, you should have this together. No, I know how I feel not to have. So
That's
yeah.
right. And that's important. Knowing where you came from, right, allows you to be humble enough to help someone. It's when you start saying that I'm not going to look back, then that's when you start judging others like, why are you doing this? Why are you this? Why are you that? No, no, I remember where I came from.
Yep.
I had the ramen experience where I had to get very creative with every bit of ramen that I had. I was making recipes.
But when I tell you I keep a 10-pack in my pantry, those noodles still today, dude. Still today. When we be having like when because thank God I have gas in my house. But like when we have the ice storms and it's cold and you lose pop, dude, I go right in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Light that burner and cook me some noodles, dude. And go to town. I keep them in my pantry. I keep them in my pantry, dude. Oh my God.
Absolutely, man. But you have to look back at that, man, because when you remember your struggle, then you can have empathy for others.
Yep. And that's what it's about. Empathy. So Casal, what are your final words? What words you want to leave people with on tonight?
So what I would say that I would really want to leave is remember your anchor. So if whatever your anchor is in will determine whether you'll weather the storm or not. If you're anchoring in friends, if you're anchoring in anything external, those come and go. But your relationship and God does not go anywhere. If your anchor is in God, you may be beaten about, moved, friends change, circumstances change. But when the wind is blowing you, you're not moving. You may be bobbing from side to side, but you're not going any further because you're anchored into God. And if you pray for purpose and you understand that purpose from God, then you won't be moved by these little noises and these things that bother you, that sound like they're only here to distract you or to derail you. Focus on what your anchor is and where it is.
That's a word, y'all. So we will see you guys next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Darius McDonald is my guest. He's an author, and we'll be discussing his new book. And we're going to give away a couple of free copies next week. So make sure you tune in so you can win those. But we will see you guys next Monday, 7 p.m. We only have 2 more episodes left for the season. So we're going to finish out and yeah. Oh, I forgot to say, guys, I hit 4 years with the podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot to make
Come on now.
that. Yeah, I know. We still going. Some of y'all went with me since day one, and I'm so grateful for you. But we will see you guys next Monday. Peace.
Take care.
Yeah. Real life stories and transparent conversations, hustle and grind, love and relationships, with all the tools for living your best life. It's the Dope Ass Dude Podcast. The Dope Ass Dude Podcast.